Happy Friday here, and welcome to another edition of Husker Chat Live. Sean Callahan for HuskerOnline.com. And as always, Husker Chat Live brought to you by Sandhills Global and powered by ABM. If you have equipment to sell it at auctiontime.com. And one of the new wrinkles we're going to do with Husker Chat Live is over the course of the spring, we're going to talk to different position group rooms as a whole and let these guys kind of talk together with me here in the discussion through spring ball. And wanted to start off with kind of a more established room, a room where obviously there's, some guys coming up the ranks, but some veteran players. And today we're going to start off our spring position group talk with outside linebacker. I've got 4 members of Nebraska's outside linebacker room joining us. Let's bring them in one by one, joining the conversation. Outside linebacker Garrett Nelson. Welcome here to Husker Chat Live, Garrett.
Hey, Sean, good to see you.
And we've got Caleb Tanner here as well, back again. Great to have you on, Caleb.
Appreciate it.
And then we've got Blaze Gunnerson, who you got to see a little bit play late last year. Iowa native, looks to figure in big this season. Blaze, welcome here to Husker Chat Live.
How's it going, Sean? Good to be here.
Great. All right. Well, and then finally, let's bring in Jamari Butler. Jamari, really looking forward to getting a chance to visit with you. Obviously, you've been here for a few years at Nebraska, and this is a big spring for you. Welcome here to Husker Chat Live. All right. Well, let's get into the discussion. And I want to start, Caleb, you're a veteran guy that's been around the block. I mean, what's going on right now? I mean, the first week of spring ball, what are you guys doing? I'm sure these are kind of like a couple of days because it's no pads and, you can't really, there's no scrimmaging or anything fun going on, but what's the first couple of days been like?
Really just working on our technique, getting the little things done right before we put the pads on and really get to working. So now it's just working real hard now.
What about you, Garrett? I mean, when you're a veteran, I'm sure when you go back to your first spring at Nebraska coming out of high school, I know your personality. You were probably balls to the wall, day one, helmets only. I'm sure you've matured a little bit and have a much more veteran-like approach to spring practice. What's it been like the first few days?
Yeah, coming to college, I didn't really understand how to practice like a pro. I just thought everything was the same speed and, same way to do everything. But there's definitely different levels of speed and different levels of pads, like you said. So Caleb put it pretty perfectly that, with no pads on, that we're doing our best that we can with our technique and hands placement, how we strike, how we move, just fundamentals of the position that, kind of may get overlooked once you get into the heat of pads. But just trying to work on those techniques so they carry over into those more aggressive situations with pads on.
Well, in spring, guys, it's about opportunity, and there's opportunity for some new guys to break through. And 2 of the guys here with us, Blaze Gunnerson and Jamari Butler, are going to get some great opportunity. Jamari, you've kind of bided your time. You've developed in the program behind the scenes. How ready are you for this opportunity this spring?
I mean, I'm real ready. Playing behind like veterans like them, they teach me everything. So when the time comes, my number will be called up, I'm gonna be ready.
And Blaze, last year we got to see you late in the year. You've had some injuries you've battled going back to high school, but it looks like you've turned the corner. Where are you at right now, kind of with your body?
Yes, sir. My body's feeling really good lately. So knock on wood, I've stayed healthy lately. So that's been really encouraging. And like you said, you got to play a little bit last year, and so just looking forward to getting better this spring and working on some of the little things to continuously get better and work behind Garrett and Caleb. So learning what they do and just putting my own little spin.
Yeah, and I want to talk about just how the outside linebacker position in general, I mean, it's really kind of evolved into a guy that can not only play in space, but you guys are almost a defensive end the way Nebraska uses you in the defense. Garrett, how have you kind of seen the defense grow where you guys are really, truly almost a defensive end at times, and it will be, a big part of the pass rush on the edge?
Yeah, you kind of put it exactly right, how this defense has evolved. We first couple of years we played a lot of stand-up outside linebacker. Not saying that we don't now, but just different calls and different packages that we're in. Just what we feel comfortable with pass rush. moves and or where the running back is, things like that. Truly now we are playing DN a ton of the time. We may see us stand up, like you said, in those specific situations, but it's involved more to a true defensive end spot. Changing our lift group to power the bigger guys and lifting more weights and, just kind of changing in that aspect. But, we do a lot for the defense. We utilize a ton. Caleb can play a ton of coverage. Jamari, Blaze, all of us can play a ton of coverage, and we can also rush off the edge and do different things. They're all pieces of the puzzle of defense, but you can kind of interchange the pieces how you want to, and we can kind of do whatever we need to do on the defense.
And Caleb, you've been with Coach Dawson, for a long time now at Nebraska. He left and came back. Just how much has he made you a stronger, tougher person over that time? I'm sure there's moments where he really challenged you, and those were tough days when you were a young player. How have you really grown now as a fifth year at Nebraska?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think Dawson brought the best out of me. I think he brought the best out of everybody in the room. Just the way he attacks, the way he expects us to attack practice. So, that right there, you can't do nothing but work. So.
Now, I'm going to put you guys on the spot, Garrett and Caleb. You're the veterans of the room. I want you to ask some of the younger guys on here, Jamari and Blaze, some questions. Just kind of challenge them a little bit about what they need to get out of the spring. Garrett, I'll let you go first. Do you have any questions for Blaze or Jamari? Just about going through spring ball and kind of what they need to do?
I guess it's not really questions about, I guess the only thing, advice they can say, you probably don't want to take advice from me, but just some things to take away from spring. Spring's a really unique time in the sense of that we're just practicing to practice. So, making sure that you as an individual, you're not fighting, the other guy across from you, you're fighting you individually. How can I get better? How can I improve the little things every day, whether it be film or mentally or physically, what I'm doing at practice. Spring's a really important time. You need to utilize it to your advantage to put yourself in the next level for fall. So you're going from, 15 snaps to however many snaps, 30 to 60 in the fall, or, having that confidence. I'm already confident in you guys that you can go play right now, but, you mentally having that confidence that you can take as many reps as you need in the fall or in the spring and, do the things correctly that you need to do and improve as a player.
Blaze, you got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, man. As you said, the spring's a really important time. Like Dawson says, we only get 15 practices, so every single one counts, and every single one we got to focus on getting better. Indie drills, we get like 40 minutes of indie, it seems like, per day. So we just got to lock in on our footwork and stuff like that. And like you said, Garrett, the film aspect of it, that part's extremely important, as we all know. And so watching that stuff on your own, watching it this weekend is going to be really important for us. And so just, mastering craft is going to be really important.
How about you, Jamari? You got anything to add after Garrett, his advice to you guys here going through the spring?
Yeah, like he said, it's more of a mental aspect. So don't get bored with it. Just keep working your technique. Keep, building that confidence. So when fall comes around, it's just like, it's easy.
Yeah, Caleb, you've been through a lot of springs at Nebraska. You came in obviously with high expectations, and you've grown as a player. What advice would you give to these guys just after what you've been through on how to kind of take advantage of opportunities and when you get out there on the field?
Right. My advice would be don't get bored. Sometimes ball, you feel like you just practicing. We early in the season, why we practicing, like why we going this hard, I say just use that technique that you practicing every day. Remember that you're doing. August come, you're able to utilize them techniques that you learned all the way in spring over here in March. So that's one thing I say. Don't get bored. Keep working your technique. Practice hard. That's really it.
If you're just joining us, you're watching Husker Chat live here on the Husker Online channel. Sean Callahan of Husker Online, Husker Chat live, brought to you by Sandhills Global and powered by ABM. And if you have questions, and this is one of the really great things about doing these, we allow the fans, whether it's through YouTube or even Facebook, they can drop the questions in, and Garrett, Blaze, Caleb, and Jamari can answer these specific questions you have. And there's really not an opportunity for fans to get this kind of access to the players. So if you have something that you want to ask these guys, feel free to drop it in the chat line. We've got a number of comments, a couple of questions. I'll let a few more questions build up here before we get into it. But I want to ask you guys about the offense, what you've seen in practice just through the 2 practices you've had. You've been at Nebraska, Garrett, for a long time. You've seen the previous offense before with Adrian Martinez. What really jumps out to you now, 2 days of going against Casey Thompson and Mark Whipple and some of the things they're doing on offense right now?
Not even Whipple and Casey, but just all together as an offense. Just run scheme wise, they're not trying to out scheme people now. They're just trying to out physical people, which is good. I mean, for us for defense, we make it really simple with play calls. I mean, it doesn't matter, if you go to our most complicated call or most simple call. I mean, things stay consistent within that call. Your effort, your energy, how you execute. How physical and mean can you play? Those things are consistent with us. With the offense, previously, I feel like they were trying to out scheme or outsmart people at times, or do something that they don't need to do. But now it seems this has been the only first 2 days or 2 days of spring. But so we're still working fundamentals and basics and stuff like that. But I really like what I see with the run game, how they're just trying to out physical people. They're not trying to scheme up something that will work. Maybe one time if they're in this look, they're just running downhill and pushing people around and make gaps for running backs to run through, and they run physically. So it's really, that's nice to see. And then skill position wise, we're probably the deepest we've been at wide receiver, probably at Nebraska in a while. And I'm really excited to see those guys run around and catch footballs. A lot of talented guys, really deep. Like you said, with those, every QB we have is extremely talented and they can sling it. So with the routes they're running and how those guys are looking, and Mickey's coaching them up, it's really cool to see how those guys are running and operating that new offense. They love it. Say it's super simple. It's super easy. They're running fast. They're being physical. Looks like they're going back to playing football and not thinking too much.
Jamari, I got a question for you. A lot of newcomers there. I mean, on offense, who has jumped out to you, taking like Casey Thompson and Chubba Purdy, the quarterbacks, out of it? Who has jumped out to you of the newcomers that you've added on the offensive side of the ball?
I have to say Trey. He's so fast. Like, he kind of reminds me of Samori, just with a little more speed. He's quick, blocking downfield, physical. He's gonna be good.
And then just his confidence level too. I mean, does that jump out when you see him play the way, he carries himself?
Yeah, it jumps out a lot because he'll make a play in practice and like he dancing. So we need that on the offensive side, confidence builders.
How about you, Blaze? Any of the new guys jump out to you on offense outside of the quarterbacks?
Not really a new guy. He was here last year. Thomas Fedone, kind of last spring. Not about last spring, but last fall, went up against him. He wasn't quite as mature as a blocker, and I feel like this spring he's been a lot better in the blocking aspect of the game. So we go up against the tight ends a good amount, and so those are kind of the guys that I get to see a lot of. And so I think Fedone's doing a lot better job.
All right, let's get to some of these questions here. We got a number of questions now. I wanted to kind of let them build up here in the queue. Let's see. Question for the defensive players. Has the offensive line coach put in some confusion schemes from what you saw last year? I'll go to Caleb on that one. I guess I don't quite understand it. Do you understand what he means by that, Caleb?
Ask it again one more time.
He wants to know, I'll put it up here on the board, sorry. Question for the defensive players. Has the offensive line coach put in some confusion schemes, or I think he might have meant confusing schemes from what you've seen last year? Are the schemes much different on the O-line, or is it like Garrett, just straight down here?
Like blocking schemes and stuff like that? I think we've seen every blocking scheme we can ever imagine. But they doing the right now. First 2 days they just basic stuff, you know. So really, we just got to sit back and see and evaluate them as we continue practicing.
Garrett, from your perspective, when an O-line is doing zone blocking versus maybe what they've gone to now under Donovan Raiola, what's the biggest difference you see where you're at?
Well, even if with those, mid zones or inside zones, and if they go to man with power and counter and stuff like that, I mean, just the way they block and run and finish blocks is a lot different. I mean, there's so many different, there's only so many ways you can teach, zone and man blockings. You got to have the players that want to do it physically and love doing it to run it correctly. And I think that's what Raiola's doing a phenomenal job with is, teaching those guys how to do it properly and then telling them it doesn't matter what we run. This is how physical you are. This is how you get guys out of gaps that, that you got to love doing your job. You got to love being part of the pipeline. And I see that in the first 2 days. I don't know if those are the words he's telling them exactly, but the way they're playing and moving guys right now, they're fired up, and he's doing a really good job as a coach.
All right, we got a question from Tyler. Best memory of being at Nebraska so far. Blaze, you want to take this one first? Obviously, your career's still kind of getting going, but what jumps out to you so far?
Yeah, if I were to single out one memory, I would say the Michigan game after they had that pick. I don't know, big turning point in that game. Felt like we were on a good track, and so defense was also humming. Really good competitive game. So I would say that one.
How about you, Jamari? Do you have any memories so far that you want to share from your time?
Yeah, it'll be that Michigan game.
The lights, you guys like the light show part of that Michigan game? I mean, I've been in Memorial Stadium a long time, and that was about as electric as you're going to see it.
That was the best game I've been to, like, hands down.
Hands down. How about you, Garrett? Any memories over your time so far?
Best memory. Honestly, it's not even the best memories. It's just it's like each week or each game in this fall, and kind of out of the season too, just hanging out with everybody, doing dumb stuff in the winter, like paying dudes like $10 to eat bugs or something. I mean, just funny stuff like that. Or just doing dumb stuff. I love those memories. The same thing with game day when somebody makes a big play, or when Blaze helped me out on a sack, or when Blaze gets his first sack, and Jamari, like memories like that where I can celebrate with those dudes that I know work super hard and they're grinding every day, finally have their fruits of labor get paid off. That's those experiences I really like.
I got a winter question. Caleb, take this question for me. When you guys talk about mat drills, I mean, what does that mean? I think there's a lot of people that are just casual fans when you say mat drills, like they don't really know. What do you guys mean by winter when you guys do these mat drills?
So I really don't mat drill, like the meaning behind mat drill. I think that workout is really the same in the country, hard work, kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just hard work, and it's about 8 stations of work for a amount of time. And you get a amount of time of break. You get a little break in between transition station to station. You get a little break. 2 of the stations might be water. Might be one station might be water. And yeah, it's nonstop.
There's no mats involved, so
no mats. It's not
contrary to popular belief. There's not a mat.
Well, back in the day, Garrett, they used to do stick wrestling, where like the lineman would have like a stick, and they would wrestle and try to take the stick from the other guy. I think you'd probably be pretty good at that.
That'd be fun. Yeah, let's go do some stick wrestling.
Well, yeah, I saw you laughing, Blaze, and Jamari. You got a comment, Blaze, about mat drills and
yeah.
You guys use that word a lot to the fans, and I think fans are like, "What does that mean? What does mat drills mean to Blaze Gunderson?"
Yeah, I see the confusion. It's just funny being around Caleb sometimes in the meeting room. Kind of going back to that last question, just being around these guys in the meeting room every day. That 10 minutes we get there for. I don't know. We have a lot of good memories in there. Caleb had a bug class that he was struggling with for like 3 years. I swear, but mat drills. I mean, the whole premise of it, I guess, is we're basically getting up really early and then just grinding with your guys. We have like everybody got into winter conditioning teams, and then there's leaders of those teams. And then I guess the hardest part about it all is focusing on communication when you're tired. So that's what Coach Shenander kind of preaches on. And that's just the biggest challenge during that little segment.
Now, Garrett, you said somebody ate bugs for $10.
Yeah.
Who did you eat? Who ate the bug? Jamari, you're laughing. Did you eat the bug, Jamari?
Garrett just funny. No, I ain't eating no bug though.
You ate a bug for $10?
So we were walking out to do summer running, and there's these dragonflies like during the summer die. These huge things like that big. And Jason, we love the strength staff are absolute animals. I love those guys. And Jason looks at the dragonfly and he picks it up, and it's super big, and he goes, "Garrett, here, eat that for $20. I pop it in, I start eating it. Everybody's freaking out, and everybody's losing their mind. And after that, I had a pretty good conditioning session. I did get the $20 too, which was killer. I thought he was joking around.
If you eat a dragonfly, you better get paid out for that bet.
Yeah, no, he did. It was fun, but like stuff like that is funny. Just trying to, you got to get in the lull with training. You're trying to focus every day, doing really well. But week 9 rolls around. This is like the 20th time you're doing this run workout. You gotta bring the juice and do something to change it up just a little bit. The work still needs to be the work, but you gotta bring something to start it off.
Now, you guys, I know in the past used to do that Navy SEAL program deal in the off season, usually like in May. Caleb, you've been a part of a few of those. I know Garrett, I think, has been a part of a few. Any good stories to share from doing that kind of training? I mean, like, I heard stories like some guys didn't know how to swim, and you didn't know that, and I mean, you literally like have to help guys in the pool. Like, you got a funny story to tell from doing all the Navy SEAL deal stuff.
Caleb, you want to go first? You want me to go?
He's got a story. I know that.
Man, Navy's it was tough, man.
Didn't you almost drown or something? You were putting a sweatshirt on, and like you couldn't get your head through the hole, and you were like underwater.
Told us going 15 feet, and I don't know how to swim, but I know how to swim. I don't know how to float in 14, like 14. I ain't never 14 feet. So they took 15 feet. Then we take our hoodies off under the water. I'm like, all right. So I tried to do it. I was drowning for a little bit. Nobody knew I was drowning. So when I got up, it was what's his name? Jalen, one of the running backs from about my friend. I was like, "See me? You ain't see me?" Like, nah. Bubbles coming up. Yeah, it was crazy. But I don't think I can do that.
Now, you guys, you haven't done that for a few years, right? Garrett, do you remember?
No, we have not.
Blaze, did you ever get to do the program workout, the SEAL workout?
No, I never got it.
So, Jamar, you probably never did either, or did you get? Okay, so yeah, that was the early, and then I think COVID just kind of shut that down, just because of the way the training and things was shut out. But those are always some interesting videos and things that you guys have put out. And it's almost not fair with Damian Jackson. I mean, it's like for him, he's like, "Oh yeah, this is old hat for me doing this stuff."
Yeah, when we were doing boat races, he obviously did it. He did the real thing. You know what I'm saying? We were doing like the kiddie version, and remember we were like, it was kind of cinematic. We had these boats of dudes out there. We're all lined up at this buoy. We're doing boat races back into the shore. Everybody has their oar up. Adrian yells like, "Go!" And everybody puts their oar down and starts going. You see this boat pulling out in front of everybody, and we're like, "Man, who the hell is that?" So like in between rows, I'm looking over there. And Damian Jackson with his long hair and beard is like steering the thing with his oar, and the wind is like blowing his hair and beard, and he just is cruising towards the beach. And it was like the coolest. If you took a video of that, he probably looked like the coolest person ever. And he won obviously, but yeah, it was just it was funny. It was fun, but like, yeah, man.
Well, let's talk about Damian. I mean, he's in your room too, and I mean, you talk about everyone having a different story at Nebraska. I mean, Garrett, you're from Scottsbluff. Caleb, you're from Georgia. Jamar, you came from the South. Blaze, you're from Iowa. And then you got a 30-year-old, 6-year senior, that's now been featured on College Game Day. I'm sure all you guys, it was on the bye weekend. I remember there at ESPN. You guys know his story, but seeing it told on that stage, what he's done. What did you think of just now that you really know everything Damian, a guy like that's been through in your room?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of ironic because, I saw that story on the Game Day special or whatever. And I didn't know all that about him. He's he keeps to himself. He's not a cocky guy. It was interesting to see all that. I mean, he's such a great role model and leader, for our position group and really for the whole team. And so, I don't know. I see him as a very good role model. From a mental aspect, he knows how to push himself really harder than anybody. Had a little joke with him the other day. He's like, I'm not that physically strong right now, because he got his shoulders done or whatever. And then, I think Nick or someone said he's probably the most mentally strong on the team. So he's a guy we can kind of all look up to.
Yeah, Jamari, for you, when you came in as a young kid in Nebraska, and you see this bearded older player that was never played high school football. I mean, I'm sure that was like, is this guy like a coach that play? I mean, what was your first reaction when you saw him out there with you guys?
Yeah, that's what it was. When I first seen him, I instantly thought like strength and conditioning coach. Then he was real quiet, like Blade said. He keep to himself. He humble. So when he went out on the field with us, I'm amazed because I'm like, he really like playing with us. But you would never know because like he act like one of us. He one of the guys. So I kind of look up to him, and then like Blade said, from a mental aspect, he pushes you to the limit.
Yeah. All right. Got a question here from Cole. Garrett wants to know about Garrett's tooth. How bad did your tooth hurt after the game when it got knocked out in 2020? What game was that again? I forget.
It was Penn State. It was so a lot people probably don't know this. It's not as cool as a story because they weren't real teeth. I had baby teeth there until I was like 16, and then I got them pulled and got fake teeth. And the fake teeth were in, and me and a tight end collided. It was in the red zone. Got a red zone stop. I stood up. And I like started feeling around my tongue. I was like, man, I don't have any teeth left. And I was like, shit. Like, I don't have my fake teeth in my mouth. So I started jogging over the sideline. I started talking to like coaches and people, and they started like laughing at me. And they're like, dude, where are your teeth? And I was like, yeah, they got knocked out. And then I get on the headphones and I talk to Chins, and he's like, I heard you don't have any teeth. And I was like, yeah, no, they're gone. And he started laughing at me, went to the bench, and everybody was freaking out. It was funny. It didn't hurt any because they're fake teeth and they were just glued to my other ones. But yeah, no, I got them back now, which is good.
Cole lets us know just now, Cam Jurgens just ran a 4.9140 at the NFL Combine. I don't think anyone is probably surprised in this panel of players right now at that time. In fact, I'm sure some of you are like, I bet he would run faster than that, and getting a lot of comments. People love the chat, guys. So thank you again for being a part. But Austin Allen runs, and tests really well. Looking at Austin Allen's numbers in that combine, the broad jump is what probably jumped out to me the most. Any of you guys want to comment on Austin and now what Cam's doing in the combine? Caleb, why don't you take this one?
I think both those guys, being with those guys for a couple, I think both those guys evolved, and they most definitely deserve what they're finna, receive. And they went out, like, put be red on the map, so that's a good thing always.
JoJo, what do you think JoJo's going to run, Garrett? 4.6s?
I'm not gonna short my boy. I think I'm gonna give real exact number 4. I'm gonna say a 4.57.
4.57. That what I mean, Blaze.
I'm not a scouting expert. I'm gonna be honest. That could be completely wrong, but I feel like a 4.57. That sounds real nice, and I'm sure if he runs anywhere close to that people are gonna be.
I'm a bigger vertical. I mean, I like the 40. The vertical tells me a lot, in the broad tell you as much almost as the 42. Those other marks will jump out. Blaze, what do you think of JoJo and and some of
Yeah, I think you're onto something there, Sean. I think that's Duval's number one. I don't know, like a year ago we did the winter condition. I think that's Duval's number one thing he looks at is the vertical jump. But the 40, I think Garrett was kind of in the right ballpark. If he runs a 4.57, that's going to be really good. So if he gets between there and a low 4.46, that'd be ideal.
Jamari, do you guys run 40s? Like, when's the last time you've run a 40, Jamari?
Probably the last winter conditioning was the last time we ran it. Like, it was kind of like a combine thing. Everybody did it.
Isn't it crazy though? Like, after the NFL combine, you'll never run a 40 again in your life. But like, it's like so big when rivals and we're looking at you guys coming up. It's so big when you go to camps. It's obviously huge at the NFL combine. People are watching it on TV. And then, by the way, you'll never do it again. Like, it's just, it's pretty crazy when you think about it like that, Caleb.
Yeah. Crazy.
Deal.
That is, man. They want to see how fast we can run.
No. Well, let's see. We're about to wrap up here. I just want to see if I can find a question to end on. Pete wants to say, "Go Big Red." He's getting excited. He can't wait. All right. Final question. We'll just go around the horn on all of this one. And taking yourself out of the equation, who hits the hardest right now on the defense? You want to take this one first, Garrett?
Man. Who hits the hard? Well, I can't. I would say Caleb. I'd probably say Caleb, but I can't like use us. So outside of Caleb,
let's take all outside linebackers out of the room. We'll make it. So when you look at the rest, and
I got a sleeper pick. He's hurt right now, but Garrett Snodgrass has laid some wood on dudes, and it's like you look at him, you're like, oh, he's a pretty good linebacker, and you see him and go hit dudes. He absolutely upends people, and it is really so. He's my sleeper pick.
All right, Garrett Snod. What do you have, Blaze Gunnarsson?
My initial thought, Caleb kind of gave a look right when this question was asked, but I think I can't say Caleb. I was gonna say Caleb, but if I were to go with some, I'm gonna go with my boy Nick. He can lay the wood whenever he wants to. So
Are you cut out there? Repeat that again.
I was gonna say Caleb, but I'm gonna go with Nick. Nick Henrich, so he big dude, fast dude, so he can lay the wood.
All right, Caleb, what do you got?
I think Luke Reimer.
Luke Reimer, all right. That's a good pick, and he's out this spring. Garrett's out this spring, so some guys that we're talking about we won't see in the spring game. And then Jamari, who's your hardest hitter on the team outside of your room?
I'm gonna take a DB. I'm gonna go with Miles Foreman because he be hitting.
Who's the guy on offense? If you gave a guy on offense a chance to hit you, a skill player, not a lineman, who's the hardest hitter on the offense?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alante Brown.
Yeah. I mean, if Yant gets it figured out, I mean, he could be just like that guy at Wisconsin. I mean, he's a beast.
Yeah, the hard part is getting it figured out, though.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this a long time, and I think I've said a lot of guys, this guy gets it figured out. Yeah, I mean, it's just you see the potential in some of these guys, though, like Yan at 250 or whatever they say he weighs, because he looks like he weighs more than 250. But well, hey guys, we appreciate you guys coming on here to Husker Chat Live. It's been fun to do this position room with you guys. I could see and feel the camaraderie in this room. You guys are a room. You can see it. You can feel it. So thanks again, guys, for coming on Husker Chat Live. You guys have a big practice Saturday, then 3 more to go in spring break. So I'm sure everyone's kind of looking forward to getting some time away or coming back again. So thanks again for joining us here in Husker Chat Live.
Appreciate it, Sean.
Appreciate it, Sean.
All right, that wraps it up here for Husker Chat Live. Once again, brought to you by Sandhills Global, powered by ABM. If you have equipment to sell at auctiontime.com.